Oh, good morning. It is 4:50 this morning, and I call this the early morning declaration and ultimate call uh, to support an action today, 1 to 2 o'clock on. Uh, don't get it twisted. That's WCHA 1520, our show. We're going to ask everybody please tune in. Tune in. You can go to DGITwisted.com. Hit the top there and listen live if you can't hear it on the radio on 1520 a.m. or even go to WCHE 1520.com and you can hit their live button. But this is a uh, show that you don't want to miss because we're going to lay out a few things. And here, like I said, here I am. It's 4:30 in the morning. I'm looking like, please bear with this and all, but it's just that important. Um, so much to be said, so much to be done, and we're just tired. In fact, the topic today is going to be when it's finally said no more, and we're going to talk about no fight, no flight, just pure action. And it's at that time, it's at that point, and is it frustration? Is the Yeah? I mean, anytime you're human, you're going to get frustrated. Um, But there comes a point in time where we have to really stand up and take notice and make those conscious decisions either to do or not to do. I was listening to Dr. Eddie Glaude on the television yesterday, day before yesterday, and with everything that's going on and the climate, that's everything, and the things that we're facing, especially as melanic. And we always say melanic. Well, now we do. I do. And that's what we've been pushing. And people don't understand it and know that, but we're still. We need to get that out there more. We're not calling ourselves minority because minority, as we said before, I'm not going to go through the whole accolades of everything of bringing it all from class 101, but people of color are 90% of the world. So how in the world can they be the minority when the majority? In this country, in this setting, in this society itself, there is no majority race. Uh, there's a book that I asked people to read, and I put it up there, and it was Jim Wallace's America's Original Sin, and it's racism, white privilege, and the bridge to a new America. I mean, here's the book. Um, if and I've asked people to try to get a hold of it. And I know even on short notice, but I put this out a few days ago, and then this is some of it. A good portion of what I want to be talking about on the show day is going to come from this premise, and in it, if you're familiar with Jim Wallace, he is the founder of Sojourners. He's in the likes of those with Tim Wise, also with Jane Elliott, that are fighting for us to really wake up to what this society has been built upon and how it's come back. One of the things he said, the United States of America was established as a white society, and it was founded upon the near genocide of another race and then the enslavement of yet another. And do I have to tell you what that was about and who it was? I mean, they come in here, the First Nations, the natives that were here, took over the land and then just try to annihilate them completely off the face of the earth. And then those that from the African continent and others in there, and as in race that we say the black, we were enslaved. We're going to talk about Dr. Ben Carson and his plunder of definition of immigrant, and had the audacity to put a people who were not seen as people and just called chattel, property, forced into exile from their own lands involuntarily, and then he's going to call them immigrants. We're going to talk about that too. But we're going to talk about when we talk about Trump and that's all that's on there. What's going on? His relationship with Russia and collusion. Well, we're going to talk about even the collaboration within our ranks, just out of pure self indulgence. That what happens when people, for their own gratification, for their own security, for their own uh, uh, um, sense of comfort, that they will basically sell out others and their own. And we're really gonna get down on that. I'm looking at my computer here because I'm trying to get the format for the show together at the same time. This is basically what my days and nights start like. I overslept uh, this day, and I didn't even get up till 4 o'clock. And I was talking with Doctor um, Io yesterday. I had a very real long talk, and I had to get focused and grounded. And I thank God for having mentors and people around you that are able to take you at a time when needed be. And we need that. You have to have that. You need relationships like that when people can actually tell you. Because when we look at ourselves, we see everything from our own mindset. But when people can actually give you direction, or at least give you things that you have to think and make the choice about, sometimes we got to take heed to that. I told you earlier this week we are dealing, and it's not all about politics, but politics in that sense runs so much. Um, we've had our run-ins. I'm a committee person, Democratic committee person was, and that's we're going to talk about that too. More or less, it came to naught that we've been blacklisted. I've been blacklisted, and well, we'll talk what that is. Uh, for the last few years, we've been trying to fight the fight. When we go to the polls, we take care of our community. We take care of the others. We'll go above and beyond. But it seems like no, it's not. Seems like it's just a reality here, especially in Chester County. Uh, the minority, particularly the black and Hispanic. Well, eh, the black, most obviously, we are we're just a means to the end for those in supposed power. But that's only because we allow it to be. Um, I saw there was one watch. I don't know who they're going now, so I'm going to go ahead and keep on going, and I'll take this up there and hope they watch. This is not a rant. This is just reality. This is where we say yay is yay and nay is nay. And I'm asking those, well, actually, I'm not even going to ask anymore. We're not going to ask anymore. We're just going to just put it at ease. Like I said, we're going to be talking about when it's finally said no more. Okay. No more crap. Complacency, resistance, apathy, and procrastination. We're not begging anymore. We're not running down and seeking down anymore. Either you have to make the conscious decision you want to do or not do. Either you're satisfied with the situation that our society and we are in, or you're not satisfied, and then in not being satisfied, you're going to take action. Okay? And it's just simple as that. And in that, if action is going to be taken, it's going to have to be done for the whole. It's not for the gratification of self. It's not for the comfort of self. It's, as Dr. Bay would say and does say, either all of us or none of us. And when I say us, that should be inclusion of all humanity within society. It's a shame, and yeah, as I was talking with Dr. Io, it could be Am I speaking in a euphoric or utopia? Uh, a reality that cannot and will not and does not exist? Can we actually have a unified body as a whole? Well, that's where hope comes in. And with hope, you also have to have belief. And to have belief, you have to have faith. And we're going to talk about what that really is. And we're going to ask, this time I am asking, that we look within ourselves, look within the core of ourselves, and really come to grips of who, what, and where we are. Dr. Edgar was saying, who we say we are to be. What does that mean? So this is what I want to say early in this morning. Some of the things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about alluding to this, because that's not to be a personal thing and blacklisting of not listening to whatever, but the ramifications of the people as a whole. We're gonna look at this two-party system here especially in Chester County, Pennsylvania. What is the end to the means with it? And like I said, in this society there is no majority. The white is not the majority, because you have black, Hispanics, and the like, that collectively they hold more, as in the numbers, and if given the power rightfully in representation, they would be able, based on how our society is set up by our Constitution and by our rules of engagement, we should be having the say, or have a equal say in what goes on, how, and what we do. And the only reason we don't do this, and the only reason we don't know this, is because we're not, one, educated to the fact, two, empowered to the fact, and three, made access to the availability to do just what we have the given right to do. So we're going to talk about that. So we're going to talk about the two-party system. We're going to talk about the Democratic Party. We're going to talk about the Republican Party. We're just going to talk about partisanship, period. And what is the alternative? And by what means are you willing to go to abridge that? No fight, no flight, just pure action. Hey, Chris, thanks. Alan, I see that you were watching. Thank you. Yeah, it's early in the morning. We are. It's that time. The 28th of this month in Westchester, we are going to be able to acknowledge and recognize some community heroes. 49 people in groups, small groups, grassroots, that put forth 54,000 hours of community service. And CCMC is a certifying organization for the Presidential Volunteer Service Awards program. And we're going to take that time to have those awards presented to these most deserving people. And I would ask that you put that on the calendar, 28th of March. That's Tuesday, on a Tuesday. It's going to be in Westchester at the Municipal Building on 401 East Gay Street, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And for anybody and everybody that has received just 1 ounce of favor, be it in contribution, sharing of time, sharing of resources, that through these different routes and endeavors that were done, Care to Share program, the forums, so many programs that are going on through, even listening to the show. Don't get it twisted. If if you've gained an ounce of anything, please look inside yourself and say, is it worth for me to show myself, or at least if I can't, send somebody or have someone come, the representative, to let these people know that they are appreciated and they are of value. I don't think that's too much to ask. Through the years, people have continually received. And a lot of times, and the majority of the time, these people have received nothing reciprocal. Not that they're looking for accolades, not that they're even looking for awards or anything, but we don't even take the time to say, thank you. And sometimes the only thank you that can be said is just by our physical support. Our physical is just showing up and saying, just by our presence, we are there with you. Sometimes we don't even understand the things that people are going through to do what they do, and they intercede for us. And we are so caught up in ourselves. And this is and can be a very, 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 very frustrating situation. And it's a dilemma because, as one of my mentors was telling me, this is how we burn up our advocates. This is how we burn up our leadership. Everything is put on their back as if they can do all and they have to do all. And because in that fight, they try to fill the gap of the action that's not done, they burn out. Because instead of being able to teach and build, they're doing. And then when they're gone, there's no one left that knows how or is it willing to take up the mantle. This has to stop. We got to call it out for what it is. So again, 1 to 2 o'clock today on Don't Get It Twisted, WCHE 1520. It's going to be hitting hard and heavy. In fact, you can actually even call into the show. I want to let you know that you call on 610-701-WCHE. That's 9243. You're going to be able to call in. And you know what I would ask? Just like I said, that presence there, call the number and just say, hey, crew, because that's the DGIT crew, with Chef Adrian, Dr. Ayo, Dr. Bay, John Kane from First Nations that will be on the show. Just call in and say, guess what? We've listened to you before. We're here now, and even mention the fact that you heard this morning, and just saying, I'm answering the call. It would mean so much. The show next week will be in its 3rd year. 3 years. And everyone that's been on there has not received a dime. Not one dime. And not one show has been missed because of any of the crew not being there. The only shows that been missed in 3 years, and I think it's only about 7 of them, is because of 1, a holiday, or 2, the station owners had precedence with something the likes of a tournament that they had covered that time. Other than that, not one episode, not one show has ever been missed. And what it takes to do that, if the people only knew. All right, well, hey, That's what I'm going to say this morning. Go to the website, like I said, WCHE1520.com or DGITwisted.com. You'll be able to live stream from your computer, or if you're on your radio, can get to it. That's 1520 a.m. Check out the websites, DGITwisted.com. Check out CCMCcaucus.com, the We Party Initiative. We're trying to update that, and that's I mean, there's so much we're going to talk about, so much that needs to be done, and we're short. We're in such a shortfall, but we're at that pivotal time where it's finally has to be said, no more, no more. It's going to be what it's going to be. Now let me get back, try to get to work and get cleaned up. Hey, sorry for the appearance, but I'm not sorry. It is what it is. This is the reality. All right. Hey, I know at this time in the morning, except for those two that were watching, Al and Chris, I know, thanks. But for others that you've seen this, go ahead on your Facebook, hit the like button, send a message saying, hey, I'll listen to the show. At least I'll try to. At least do that much. Let us know that you're there. And by the way, for those that invites were sent out to on the 28th for the Volunteer Appreciation Awards, go ahead and go to the event. You can go on my personal Facebook page, or you can go to DGI Twisted's page. You can go to the CCMC or in the We Party and sign in on the invitation and saying you're coming. We need to know who and how many are coming, at least the estimate, so we can even prepare for that. Okay. And then lastly, on the third Thursday of each month, we're going to have open dialogue again in Westchester, in the chambers, in the council chambers, from 6 to 8:30. Every third Thursday, we have speakers and groups and organizations, and just people large going to be coming from all over the state and nationally. And we're going to really get down to tax and talk about things. So you see that also. That's up there. Sign into those things. I see we're back to two more watching us. Hey, we're there. So, all right. It's that time. It's that time. And to all those naysayers, and I'm going to call it out for what it is. Chester County Democratic Committee. I call them the Chester County Dixiecrats. Guess what? We're putting it on full blast. Kennett area Dems, Kennett area discriminators, and that's what I call them. And it's not. I'm not going to be like. Well, actually, I am. I'm doing just the very same thing. I'll be real about it. The name calling in that sense is like a Trump thing. No, but this is the reality, and this is what we're going to just say. It is what it is, and we're going to have to move forward and have to come to grips. And this is what it's been all about. But we cannot fight this fight alone. Can't do it. Can't afford it. Too much is at stake. And this is not melodramatic. This is a reality. And by the way, if you can, remember, like I said before, if you can get a hold of this book, this is Jim Wallace's America's Original Sin. This book is consummate to what Dr. Joy DeGroy did with post-traumatic slave syndrome, what it does for the melanic and non-melanics as a whole, to understand the dynamics of there. This for non-melanic, or should I say even white America, when it comes to dealing with white privilege or undeserved privilege, as Dr. Bay would say, when it comes to racism, when it comes to those things and those tenets, and what it's going to take to rebuild a new America. And the reality of what it is, this is a must. This is a must. And it's the dialogue today on the show. I cannot say it much. Can't say it enough. It's going to be something, to use this analogy, it's going to be a come to Jesus moment. And I promise you that. And it's going to tell a lot. It's going to tell about ourselves, and also about you and we as a whole. So, again, thanks. I know it's early in the morning, and for those up, you have a blessed day and a safe day. And I'll be looking forward. I'm not hoping. I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing from you on the show from the day, and then after the show from this point on. Okay, when it's finally said, no more. The end of crap, complacency, resistance, apathy, and procrastination. Okay, no fight, no flight, just pure action. Have a blessed day.